Welcome to another thrilling episode of Cricut Mystery Theater. I am your host, Sherlock Homeboy. In this episode, we will be solving the case of the paper saver. Previously, just a minute. Hey, sound guy, psst. Would you mind nudging him and waking him up for me, please?
Sure thing.
Hey, sound guy, I need my detective music.
Sorry, man. Late night.
Thank you very much. Previously, not so loud, and try to stay awake this time. Previously, we talked about how the Cricut machine takes the shapes and puts them in little rectangular boxes, lays them end to end, and when it gets to the end of a row, does a carriage return and starts again. And I also think that we talked about how I hate it when it leaves so much paper here at the end of the row when I know that it would fit.
Snap out of it!
Ow! That hurt. Ow. Oof. Well, what we haven't talked about yet is how the Cricut machine will take shapes of different heights and line them up across the top, just as if they were clothes hanging on a line. Now, the truth be known, these shapes were cut out with the paper saver button turned off. Had we turned that paper saver button on, we would get the exact same thing.
But how do you know about them?
Elementary, my dear Watson.
So what's the point of the paper saver button? Is it like the closed door button on an elevator that's not connected? Is it like the lie of permanent press? Because if permanent press really existed, why would every iron in the world have a setting for permanent press? Think about it. No, the reason it's there is for letter sets. And I'm going to show you how that works. So for shapes, you see that the Cricut machine lines everything up at the top. Using the Songbird cartridge, we've cut out the word amazing in 2-inch letters. Notice how it lines them up along the bottom of that letter, letting the Z and the G extend below. I also want you to notice that the top of the A is going to be just a little bit lower than the lowest point that the cutting blade reached on the previous row. Now, if we were to cut out the word amazing again, it would actually start right about here, because it has to be below the lowest point, which is there. So with the paper saver on, the Cricut has taken the lowercase letters and scooted them up to a line that runs across the top of the A. See how the Z and the G, the bottoms of those letters actually are not extending below the bottom of the A. So here, we're able to get the word amazing a third time. Now, if we had been clever and used our navigation keys, shooting the first amazing up, we probably could have got a fourth one in there, but that's a subject for another video.
Very interesting. What do you mean, very interesting? It was stupid.
So the paper saver button does have a purpose. It's used for letter sets, and that's about it. But a lot of people keep it lit all the time, never turn it off. And it's kind of like chicken soup. It can't hoit.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
So thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like you to all give it up for the sound guy who managed to stay awake for the rest of this episode. So join us again next week for another thrilling episode of Cricut Mystery Theater. Louder, louder. There we go. Bye.
It don't mean a thing. All you gotta do is sing. It makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Just give that rhythm everything you got. Oh, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.